I can read absolutely anything.
How about this?
Polish, the hardest Slavic language. Today, we break down its writing and pronunciation. Its grammar breaks us, and we learn as much profanity as possible as a form of self-soothing. Bayayayo, bayayayo. So we're gonna start with this word.
Dude, it looks like somebody fell on the keyboard.
No, it's actually easy to read.
That wasn't a joke.
Polish is written in the ever-ubiquitous Latin alphabet with a few extra modifications, adding up to about 32 letters.
The language, however, has 37 unique phonemes, so instead of inventing even more characters, they opted to use digraphs instead. Let's concern ourselves with these three for now. Sh, ch, zh. These are retroflex consonants, which you pronounce with the tip of your tongue curled back. So now we can read the first part. Sh. What about those two? Polish consonants are divided into two groups, hard or soft, which is marked by either a kreska above it or an E after it. Sia, dzia, nia. Szczęście. What did I tell you? Reading Polish isn't even remotely difficult. But to compensate for that, the pronunciation is absolutely impossible. Anyway, let's wrap up the consonants before we move on to the vowels. This letter makes a y sound, so if you want a j sound, you're going to have to write it like this.
But doesn't the kreska make a consonant soft?
Are you blind? I think you're getting these mixed up. That's not a kreska, that's a kropka. You can also see it written with a stroke instead. Most iconically on the cover of this magical potion. Fun fact, 5 years ago I drank 7 of these and I woke up in Białystok. I don't even live near Poland! For the record, nowadays, these two make the same identical sound, zh, like in the name Grzegorz. You may have noticed I pronounced it differently from how it's written. At the end of a word, voiced consonants become devoiced, but the spelling stays the same. Wóz, krew, chleb. And finally, CH makes a h sound, the Polish L makes a W sound, and the actual Polish W sounds like V. Polish has 6 normal vowels, a, e, I, o, u, with Y being pronounced as U. It's also the only Slavic language with nasal vowels, but it's nothing like French and Portuguese. Because unlike the aforementioned languages, Polish only has 2. O, L. And what makes this even better is that they change depending on the following consonant, and most of the time, they're not even nasal in pronunciation at all. I'm going to preemptively answer this question before I inevitably get 1,000 comments asking, why isn't Polish written using the Cyrillic alphabet? The short answer is, Polish people don't want to. Anticlimactic, but historically motivated, and I am not touching that topic. But let's look at it hypothetically. Does Cyrillic make writing Polish faster, since it does do away with the digraphs and the gigantic consonant clusters? In order for us to answer that question, we're going to have to create an alphabet powerful enough to contain Polish, by hybridizing Belarusian and Serbian, which sounds crazy, but it just might work. Here's what resulted from this unholy matrimony. We got rid of almost all of the digraphs, but we have far more letters to contend with. But one special character stands out for its efficiency. To Russians, it's sha. Bulgarians know it as shtu, but in Ukrainian, it's shcha. And that's exactly what we're after. That's awesome, right? Too bad it's never going to catch on, so this was one big waste. Join me next time where we continue these brain-rotted experiments by trying to adapt Polish to Japanese-style writing with hiragana and kanji. Starting with the basics, the Polish language has 3 genders. Masculine.
Chomik, jaki kurwa fajny.
Feminine.
O kurwa rakieta.
And neuter.
Ja p***ole, jaki bydle.
But that's just in the singular. In the plural, these collapse into a masculine personal for groups containing at least one male human, and a non-masculine personal for women, children, animals, and objects. I know that sounded like an off-color joke, but that's actually how it works. Either way, noun gender isn't the problem. They are. Cases. Let's say you want to define what purpose a word serves in a sentence. English does so through strict word order and prepositions, which is why even homunculi can learn it. Polish instead relegates all of this to its 7 cases. You use vocative predominantly to yell after beavers in the forest. But you can also use it to call on people. The nominative is reserved for the subject of the sentence, usually somebody performing an action. Whatever is affected by said action usually goes in accusative, unless you're giving something to someone, in which case you need to put them in dative. Genitive works the exact same way as apostrophe S in English. They're literally identical, except in Polish it also marks absence as well. And finally, the locative appears after certain prepositions to show you where or what you're talking about, and the instrumental marks when you perform an action with something or someone. Huh, that didn't seem too hard. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot something. Every noun takes different endings in each of the 7 cases depending on number, gender, and for masculine nouns, animacy. It's also worth noting that sometimes Polish uses cases in places that feel completely arbitrary. For example, if I wanted to say jestem szalony, the adjective stays in the nominative. But if I say jestem wariatem, the noun goes into the instrumental. Why does this happen? I don't know, but I can tell you where I learned it. In a League of Legends lobby, because I was playing with a guy called Jestem Vibratorem. Numbers are even worse. From 1 to 4, it's how it's supposed to be. Nominative singular, nominative plural. But from 5 onwards, you need to not only start using the genitive plural, but the language suddenly decides that the verb needs to be in singular. And yes, this pattern repeats with larger numbers. First and foremost, I want you to know that the verbs are a lot easier. Polish only has 3 tenses: past, present, and future. What do you mean? I hear you yell at your screen. Aren't those the only tenses that exist? Italian would like to have a talk with you. Polish verbs are conjugated for person and number, so the language is largely pro-drop, which is a nerdy way of saying that pronouns are mostly redundant. You gotta understand though, most verbs come in pairs because of something called aspect. The imperfective describes an action as ongoing, while the perfective focuses on its completion. This affects tenses as well. Imperfective verbs have a true present tense, while perfective verbs use the same conjugation pattern but refer to the future. Another fascinating feature, albeit unrelated to aspect, is that in the past tense, verbs are formed with endings that also reveal the subject's gender. This is surprisingly useful because it lets you know that it was Yogg-Sothoth who ate your pierogi and not Grzegorz. The conditional's main function is to describe hypothetical or unreal situations. You form it by taking the past tense form of the verb and adding this ending onto it. You can also use the conditional to lament the lack of pivot at a function. Good thing I brought my own. Not again! And finally, the imperative is for issuing commands like, comment, and subscribe. No, I'm messing with you. Let's look at Polish profanity instead. I'm sure you're probably already familiar with some level of Polish profanity from those, let's call them short-form nature documentaries with improvised commentary tracks. Either way, by the end of this segment, you're going to be able to do a very good Stachu Jones impression.
Pierdolę model, dawaj mi wino.
Unlike English, where we just add the word fuck to every sentence, Polish synthesizes new expressions through prefixes. Let's start with the most prolific of them all. Pierdolić. What can this word do for you? Well, you can replace every single verb with it. Every verb? Every verb! Sajba mam wpierdolił jamcie. Wygiecie kompletnie odpierdoliło. For the record, I could spend the rest of this video giving you potential uses for this word. Nowadays, kurwa is used as an all-purpose emotional exclamation. Oh kurwa! With its literal meaning of lady of the night, taking a back seat. Even Polish dictionaries treat these as 2 separate uses. So next time you hear someone say bober, you'll know better than to think the awesome beast involved in some form of highly profitable and illicit nighttime activities. Could we ever call this list complete without mention of the life-giving act? The Slavic staple! Jebać. A beautiful, poetic word, and the only one truly able to rival pierdolić in diversity of use. Capable of describing everything from getting really drunk to asking your mind-broken friend if he hasn't finally snapped and gone insane. Honestly, after the grammar segment, I wouldn't blame him. Hey, Grzegorz, you okay, buddy? Pierdolę okay. Dawaj mi wino. It's a funny reference, but I think you're going to rehab. And now I'm going to address 2 specific things that I know will feature in the comments in some way. First, why does the guy in one of the most iconic videos about beavers say bober and not the official buber?
Bober, 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 bober.
Most likely due to dialect. But more importantly, this joke has to go. Saying bober to a Pole is like saying cheeseburger Texas to an American or to a Brit. 2. In meme culture, why are the men of Warsaw considered feminine, to say the least, especially in comparison to their counterparts in, say, Radom? The short answer is money, and I know what you're thinking. Isn't Poland poor? It was, in the 90s. Now they're $1 trillion economy.
I only make 2,000 euros a month, man. I'm so poor.
You make 3 times what I make.
You guys are getting paid? Like everywhere else in Europe, all of the opportunities and money are located in the capital, where people live nice, comfortable, cushy lives and don't have to fight the beaver monster for the...
What do people in Białystok do? Beer? They make beer? Is that what they do?
Point is, the people from rural Poland really don't like those soft city slickers in Warsaw. I'm Plasticine Heart. Białystok is the place to be. Like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and if you want to support the channel, you can always become a member.